The rain on Nexus 7 fell in sheets of bioluminescent blue, casting eerie shadows across the sterile streets of the colony district. Brielle huddled beneath a corroded ventilation shaft, her small frame trembling as the cold seeped through her thin clothing. Her skin, a pale lavender marked with faint silver patterns, glistened under the alien downpour. She was Xylene, one of the last of her kind after the Convergence War had decimated her homeworld. The harmonious Haven Orphanage had seemed like salvation 3 months ago. But Director Calvex, a rigid Zenthari administrator, had made his position clear that morning. We cannot accommodate species with unique requirements. Our resources are stretched thin enough with the standard wards. Translation: she was too different, too expensive, too alien. Now, at barely 9 cycles old, Brielle sat alone in the market district, watching the various species of the galaxy hurry past without a single glance her way. Her stomach growled. She hadn't eaten since yesterday. The Xylene metabolism required trace minerals found only in specific compounds, and without them, she would slowly waste away. "Hey, kid!" Brielle's large, opalescent eyes snapped upward. A human stood before her, water dripping from his worn leather jacket. Humans were rare this far into the outer territories. Most stayed in their own systems after the war. This one was tall, with kind eyes the color of Earth's oceans, and dark hair plastered to his forehead by rain. "You look like you could use this." The human, Sawyer, according to the ID badge clipped to his jacket, offered her a thermal blanket. Brielle stared at it, then at him. Suspicion warring with desperate hope. "Why?" Sawyer crouched down to her level, seemingly unbothered by the puddles soaking his knees. "Because you're cold, and I've got a spare. That's reason enough, isn't it?" She took the blanket with trembling fingers, wrapping it around her shoulders. The warmth was immediate and glorious. "Thank you," she whispered in Galactic Standard, though her accent made the words sound musical. "You got a place to stay?" Sawyer asked gently. Brielle shook her head, silver tears forming in her eyes. She explained haltingly about the orphanage, about Director Calvex's rejection, about being alone. Sawyer's jaw tightened. He was silent for a long moment, then stood and extended his hand. "Come on, let's get you out of this rain." "Where?" Brielle asked, not taking his hand yet. "My ship for now. Then we'll figure something out. I'm a salvage operator. I travel a lot, but I've got food, a warm bunk, and I promise you're safe with me." He smiled, and something in that smile reminded Brielle of her father before the bombs fell. "Deal." She placed her small hand in his larger one. "Deal." Sawyer's ship, the Wandering Star, was a beat-up Corinthian freighter that had seen better decades. But inside it was clean and lived in, with plants growing in makeshift hydroponics bays and old Earth music playing softly through the speakers. Brielle sat at the galley table, wrapped in a real heated blanket now, watching as Sawyer prepared food. "You said you need specific minerals, right?" he asked, pulling up a holographic database. "Xylene physiology requires selenium, zinc, and chromium supplements. Lucky for you, I've got a decent medical fabricator." Brielle's eyes widened. "You know about Xylene?" "I make it my business to know about a lot of things," Sawyer said, programming the fabricator. "Lost too many friends in the war because of ignorance, figured I'd do better." Within minutes, he'd prepared a nutrient-rich meal tailored to her biology. Brielle ate ravenously, tears streaming down her face, not from sadness now, but from overwhelming relief. "Why are you helping me?" she asked between bites. "The Galactic Council says humans are selfish, dangerous." Sawyer laughed, a warm sound that filled the small galley. "The Council says a lot of things. Truth is, humans believe something pretty simple. If you can help someone, You should, especially kids who've got no one else. Over the following weeks, Brielle learned that Sawyer's philosophy extended far beyond words. He rerouted his salvage contracts to systems with Xylene-compatible resources. He taught her how to read star charts and operate the ship's navigation systems. When she woke screaming from nightmares of the war, he sat with her until dawn, telling her stories of Earth, a planet she'd never seen but began to think of as home. One evening, as they drifted through the Calidor Nebula, Sawyer sat her down in the cockpit. "Brielle, I've been thinking," he began, unusually nervous. "I know I'm not Xylene, and I know I'm just one guy with a rusty ship, but if you want, I'd like to make this official. Adoption papers, legal guardianship, the whole thing. You'd be my daughter for real." Brielle's breath caught. You want to keep me?" "More than anything," Sawyer said simply, "but only if that's what you want too. No pressure." She launched herself at him, wrapping her arms around his neck. Yes, please." Sawyer held her tight, his own eyes suspiciously bright. "All right then, kiddo. Looks like you're stuck with me." The paperwork took months to process through the Byzantine galactic bureaucracy. Director Calvex himself tried to block it, citing interspecies incompatibility and improper human influence. But Sawyer was relentless, hiring advocates and presenting evidence of Brielle's thriving health and happiness. The day the adoption was finalized, Sawyer took Brielle to the observation deck of a Federation station. Together, they watched the stars streak past, a human and a Xylene father and daughter. "The galaxy told you that you weren't wanted," Sawyer said softly. "That you were too different, too difficult, too much trouble." Brielle looked up at him, her silver-marked face glowing in the starlight. "But humans have a saying," he continued, ruffling her hair gently. "Home isn't where you're from. It's where someone loves you for exactly who you are." She smiled, leaning against him. "Then I'm home." And in the vast, cold expanse of space, that was enough.